Hey guys, long time no see. This is finally the interview video from my visit to Moonton's office in Shanghai. There's a lot in this video, it's quite long, so I won't delay too much, but I do want to quickly do the giveaway that was announced in the previous video. There were a lot of comments. There were over 1,600 comments on that video, so thanks so much for participating, and I wish you a lot of luck in the giveaway. I found a tool that allows you to randomly pick comments and it discards duplicates, as there were some duplicate comments, so didn't work this time, sorry guys. Anyway, let's go on with the giveaway. The way I'm going to do this is we'll just do the 3 big ones and then I'll show you the other 30, because there was 30 times 300 diamonds, 30 times 5 huge stamina potions, then there was the yearly monthly summoning, yearly monthly stamina, and the privilege pass for 1 year. So let's do that. Let's start with the monthly summoning card. And the winner is Angelo Camero, which is hoping to win the raffle, and he does provide his ID. So congratulations, Angelo. You should be getting a monthly summoning card for a year. I'll pass this on to the developers straight after this. So congratulations, mate. And next up, we have Sherman Portillo 7419. Gratitude top G. Thank you, mate. And we do have the ID in this comment as well. Some of them don't, so I was a little bit worried, but it seems we're in good hands. So congratulations, Sherman, mate. You'll be getting the monthly stamina card for 1 year. And finally, I think the biggest one is the privilege pass for a year. So the winner is Dutch Dills. Great to hear from you. Everyone was wondering how you were. Thank you, and sorry for making you guys worry. I've honestly just been crazy busy at the moment. I'm living a good life, so I'm very fortunate and happy with it. But I am very sorry to vanish on you guys so much. So I'm glad to get this video out finally, and congratulations, Dutch, mate. I wish you success and pleasure with all the farming you'll be able to do. All right, so that is the giveaway over with. You'll see on my sides, there is a big list of names, winners of the huge stamina potions and of the 300 diamonds. So thank you guys very much for the comments. I did read a lot of them. There are a lot, so I apologize. There are a bunch I didn't read, but 1,600 comments is insane. So it's pretty impressive amount. So thank you guys for commenting and contributing. And there was some really lovely stuff in there, which I really do appreciate. And I know the developers do as well. So with that, let's go into the interview at Watcher of Realms HQ with some of the developers. So I'm joined by Ren, and you may recognize his voice from the previous interview, and he is a hero and a battle designer. So thank you for joining me again, Ren.
Thank you. My back. It's nice to finally having you here.
Yeah, it's great to meet in person.
It's been a long wait.
A long time, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity, so thanks so much. All right, so I can see you've got some pretty cool teasers on the screen at the moment, but maybe we can start by following up from where we left off in the last interview. So have you got, I've heard there might be some follow-up progress updates on some of the topics from our last interview.
Actually, we have spent quite some time to prepare those special surprise for you guys, especially when the holidays are in the reach, right? So here's a glimpse of what's coming to Watcher of Realms in next year. And before we actually start, there's a disclaimer that obviously all the contents in this document is WIP status and does not reflect the final quality of the related work.
Yeah, makes sense. It's all a work in progress. So thank you very much for showing us so soon.
Okay, so let's start. So first of all, last time we were talking about a brand new guild boss. Of course, we refer it to as guild boss is only because this boss is also like you need to fight it together with your guild members. Yeah. But this boss is actually a fully independent boss compared to the previous one. And you have independent rewards, and the battle mechanics is brand new.
Sounds good.
So let's go ahead into a little bit background of this boss. So we have it temporarily named Titan the Guardian. And Titan is an ancient guardian golem, actually, created to protect the treasures of gods. And it presents unprecedented challenge and both rewards to players to beat it, of course. And there's a simple mechanism explanations for this boss. First of all, it has a multi-arm rotation. Actually, for now, there are 3 arms. Yeah, it's a 3-arm rotation. And this boss mechanics changes for each arm, of course. And basically, you beat one arm, and the arm rotates into the second arm, and you have to beat the second arm for a second different
And is
mechanics.
that all in the same fight?
Yes, all in the same fight, and this rotation goes on and on. For example, you beat the first and the second and the third, and the boss enters a vulnerable status, which you can get your DPS much higher.
Cool.
And then for some time, and then it goes back to the first arm, and the fight will last for a certain amount of time.
So you say, sorry to interrupt, but I'm very curious. You say to beat each arm. So if you have a real burst damage heavy team, Can you get through the arms really quickly, or will you have a time where you have to at least survive X
Basically,
time?
you need to both have a high DPS team and also you have the right mechanics counter, because each arm will have a specific mechanics.
So you won't just be able to nuke through every arm. You'll have to counter.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds really good.
You need to think a little bit for the hero build-up.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so basically the goal of this boss is to test both damage output and survival abilities of your hero makeups. So for the first previous guild boss, we're getting back to it again. We mostly only test the damage output, not so much on the survival side.
Okay,
so
yeah, makes
this
sense.
is supposed to be a more balanced test for the player's heroes. So let's head into the art design of
Cool,
this
yeah,
boss.
I'm looking forward to it. Multi-arm form.
And put it a little bit.
Wow, that is cool. Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so let's start from the original concept. So obviously our team took a little bit ideas from the works like Shadows of Colossus.
Yeah, that's really cool inspiration, actually. I really like that.
Shattered citadels of the Elden Rings. And basically we were trying to create a giant ancient Titan golem that has some shattered ancient rocks or stones attached to his arms and his back, something like that, to amplify the epic feeling of this boss. And
I think it works. It's just concept art, but it looks really cool. Actually, I'm really excited for that.
Okay.
We can.
So you can see a little bit here that there's a 3 arms rotation mechanics for this boss. Basically, you have practically have 3 different mechanics. Like this one is like a shield, so it's probably a defensive mechanism.
Is it similar to the Immortal Codex, where you have to hit it a number of times, or is it a health-absorbing shield where you have to do damage?
It's more like the latter, but it's
There's
probably
more
not
mechanics.
final yet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and this one is like a flamethrower. This one is like a chainsaw. Yeah, so basically you need to prepare different kind of mechanics, both offensively and defensively.
So a very technical question. I'm just curious to know. This flamethrower and the chainsaw, are they different damage types? So there's magic and physical damage?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see, I guess.
Although it's not something we have already discussed.
Yeah, it's work in progress, so
Yeah.
we'll see. But I'm just because they're different damage types. So
and more natural and.
yeah, it's interesting to see how that goes.
Okay, and this is a little bit glimpse of how the fight stage looks like.
That's
this,
cool.
Boss here, and basically you put your heroes here.
How many heroes can you bring? The same as Guild Boss 1? Like a team of 10 and 8 tiles?
I can't recall, maybe 8. Okay, so this is actually the same with previous boss.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Okay, so this is also like a 3-side view for this boss setting. You can see a pretty clear 3 arms.
It's really cool. I like the design a lot.
mechanics.
And this is weekly, right?
Weak link?
Weekly. We do it once a week. Once a week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
And basically, it will have different looks of his head when he was attacking or defending.
Oh, so there's a tell, so the players know what
Yeah.
kind of state the boss is in.
Yes.
Nice. It looks really cool. Actually, I'm pretty hyped for that. I like the top-down perspective on it. Gives it a lot more oomph, I guess, because the dragon's cool, but it's a little bit obscured in some way. Like it's a bit hard to see. But this really, I think it's a really good angle to show off the scale of the boss.
And dragons, I think this guy's a little bit cliche.
Yeah, I guess.
Games.
No,
It's
I'm a
always
big
good
fan.
to have something different.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah. Okay. And here's a little bit the early art design of the stage itself. Basically, there are some pillars and some archways and some like a bell house to show the entire vibe of this battleground, as to show it's an ancient battleground which was created. I think it was sort of a treasure vault of sorts, created by the gods, and this boss was supposed to protect it.
And we're gonna beat him up and steal all of his treasure.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, because it's after so many years, you cannot really claim it.
He's had it long enough. It's our turn now.
And there were some
we get to
small
see a
camera
clip.
sets.
Nice.
We were playing around for when I try to put some different heroes on this and to see it with from different angles. It's only a white model.
Yeah, I can see this. There's no material yet.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. I'm trying to fit in my head. I'm thinking about the different team positions. I guess it's all a work in progress to change.
Yeah.
But are all of those ground tiles in between the platforms? Can you place on all of them? Because there's like I can't really point, but like these little places.
Yeah, I probably need to check with our level designer, but from the history of the last boss, probably not all of them.
Yeah, true. I'm just curious because if it's those little ones at the bottom, you could have constant attack boosting. I'm just curious to see how that would go. No, it seems good. I like it.
Yeah, so this is how much we are ready for to spoil for the first boss, for the new guild boss, and then we'll announce the new chapter of the main campaign at chapter 10, which is about the mountains of dwarves. And this chapter will take place in a cold land covered in ice and snow in the northern part of the planet. I think the plot is about an adventure with the main characters in the long lost dwarven realms. Heroes will face various enemies like man-lost dwarves for the first part and the powerful ice elementals for the second part. And eventually, players will discover the reasons that turned the dwarves to the bad side and face the mighty elemental lord and try to beat him, of course. And there are some more, in fact, puzzle-solving elements involved in this chapter's levels. And the fights will get a lot easier once the player cracks the lock. Also, the hard mode of chapter 9 will also be released around the first half next year.
That'll be fun to see, because chapter 9 is quite tough.
Yeah, I know players have been waiting for the new chapter campaign for
people really like the campaign. The campaign's what drew me to Watcher of Realms, actually. I really like the campaign of the game.
Yeah, and especially this chapter will take place on an entirely different setting.
It's very dwarven focused. So will the heroes such as Azhor and Brokir, are they featured in the story at all of the chapter?
For the most part, will feature in the story and they will act as the main enemy.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And they will play a large part in the plot.
So Azhor gets to shine finally.
And this is a little bit picture of the stage design in the early stage. Basically, there's the statues of the dwarves and like cannons and walls of
traps, maybe.
Yeah, and traps and forge.
Okay, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Created together to create some. The classic dwarven vibe.
Yeah, I can see it. That looks cool. And there's a little picture. Oh, there's a bigger picture. Cool. Video. Let's see.
So basically, nothing is moving except the
it's just an environment show.
This object.
It looks cool though. I like the aesthetic. Yeah, it's really cool because the previous chapter 9 is like very kind of ethereal and almost angelic. Right. So it's nice to see a big change. So is there likely to be more Void Rift stages that have this kind of appearance? Because the chapter 9 we see there was a new Void Rift campaign, like a new Void Rift chapter that looks.
It's possible.
Cool. It'd be good to see more of it. So I have another question related to this because last time we spoke, you suggested that chapter 9 was more focused on having a high BP, like a high battle power, to overcome the high numbers on the enemies.
Yeah.
And this one, I think you said, is more likely focused on the mechanics side.
Yes.
So is that still likely to be the case?
It's more likely than not.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fair.
I have not got any information with our level designers yet. I think so.
Cool. That sounds good. The puzzle side of it is what drew me to the game. So it's great to see that staying in the direction.
Yeah. I think puzzle solving is more fun than
just numbers.
Accumulating BPs.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Let's take a quick look at the enemies.
So these are some of the new enemies coming in.
So basically, for this chapter, there are two factions of the main enemies, the dwarves and the ice elementals. So you can see some sort of savage berserkers of dwarves, and dwarven tanks with long axe and shield. This one is that a cannon or a minigun? Yeah, it looks like a minigun. Like a minigun. Cool. Yeah, and those are ice elementals. Yeah, so
is this maybe related to the heroes like Boreas coming into the game, the ice focus?
I think so.
Nice. I'm a big fan of Boreas. I think he looks really
Yeah.
cool. I like his design, his kit as well.
I hope it plays some role in this plot too.
I really like it. I think his design, his mechanics as well, I think are really cool. And the recent patch notes, I think, are really good. So
Is it already on the Forerunner servers?
it's on the Forerunner, he is,
Already?
but not on global. I'm waiting for him on global. I'll be going for Boreas.
It's super powerful, right?
It looks cool, and the map scale freeze
Yeah. Have you tried it?
on test a little bit,
A little bit.
but I'm waiting for.
From what I have heard about him is super impact.
Yeah, I think it'll be very good. I think it'll be very good.
Okay. Let's move on.
Oh, the new gear raid we have.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
I know that's a good one. So basically,
Gear
we are
raid.
introducing the new gear raid for next year, and when it's released, after clearing level 18 of all the 3 current gear raids, a brand new gear raid, which we just call it Gear Rift for now, can be unlocked. And there are a series of regular rotating levels for the players to experience. And upon clearing, brand new gear sets and gear crafting materials will be dropped. And those materials can be hammered into various gear and This crafting feature allows to create several designated sets. So it's sort of a directional.
You can choose
drop.
what set you want to
Yeah,
get to
sort
a
of
degree.
choose it from like maybe 3 or 4 different.
And are these new sets or the existing sets or both?
both existing and the new sets.
Okay, interesting.
But you still have some sort of randomness because you can only decide 3 or 4 sets.
Oh, you can't choose
Those
one.
are the
You have to choose a
possible
group of sets.
Yeah.
Cool. I got what you mean. Yeah. No, that sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it says Nightmare Trial, but is that like a temporary name for Gear Raid 4 or whatever Gear Rift?
I was getting there. So the first picture is the current UI look of this entrance of this raid. So it's have a brand new background and brand new art here, and basically. The second picture is like the crafting system, the showcase of the crafting system, and you can see here you will have rewards. You have your production from either one of those 3 sets you have chose.
And you get one free a day in the moment.
Using the material that's dropped from the new rig.
Yeah, cool. Seems cool. Do you get to choose the slot or not? Like bangle, necklace, ring.
So for the first edition of this feature, the players cannot choose which slots to produce, but we'll be looking into this the data, and maybe we will.
Yeah, makes sense. So when you do a run, can you farm as many as you want? Are you limited per day, per week, or a resource, or is it just open farm like normal gear raids?
So the format is a little bit like the first 3 raids. As long as you have stamina, you can farm as much as you want. And but there is a special new mechanics that there's a random rotating modifier attached to each boss of this new raid. So there are multiple bosses in this raid, and I think like for each day you get one of them.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And one of the modifiers.
Oh, so it's kind of like almost like a combination of Void Rift and Gear Raid.
Right, and each boss I think has its own gear sets that can drop. So basically, you can only farm those 3 gear sets drops directly from this boss this day, and tomorrow you can get drops from other.
Okay, that's cool. So you can choose certain days you want to farm more than others.
There are also multiple kinds of materials too. So if, for example, the green gems only produce these 3 kinds of gear sets, and maybe a red gem can produce.
And that's depending on which boss you fight?
Yes, I think it's attached to boss too.
So you can choose, on this day it's these 3 sets, so maybe I don't want to farm.
So you need to save your stamina for the boss you want.
That's cool, I like that, that's cool. So when you farm, is that the drop is these gems, or do you get other drops as well?
It drops both equipments, gears and the material.
Okay.
But the gear is a little bit rarer, and it's mostly, for the most part, the materials.
Okay, and is the gear generally the same as the gear? So say I'm farming Gear Raid 3 stage 21. Is it the same rough drops as that if I was farming whatever the highest stage of this is? So if I was trying to get ancient gear or something, is it on parity? Like, is it better to spend stamina here if you're farming the top end?
I think so. I think it's better to farm the new gear with.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
So I think so there will also be multiple levels for this new raid, and for the maybe first half, it will be a similar status comparing to the 18 to 19 levels of the first 3 raids.
Cool.
So they drop roughly the same quality.
Makes sense, yeah.
And the latter half will be better, at least on par or better than the 21st level of the old.
Cool, nice. So it's kind of like the next level of stages.
If you can push as much as you can, it will probably be more efficient than the old.
Is it much harder? Would you be? I guess it's very different content, but
yeah, it's still a little bit too early to say.
Okay.
But I assume it will be harder.
I'm just curious to see. I like challenge, and I think it's interesting to see how far things get pushed. So that'd be really cool to see. I'm interested in that.
Sure. Yeah, that's pretty much all we have for this new gear raid and the new gear crafting systems.
That sounds great. Do you have any idea on how many bosses there are, or is it like if there's 7 days in a week and it rotates?
So everything is temporary. So for now, for the first edition, we are planning for 2 bosses, and eventually we will have 4, I think.
Cool.
And the rotation period will be like a month. So 2 weeks for boss A and 2 weeks for boss B.
Oh, okay.
For the first edition, and when we have 4, there will be
1 per week. Yeah. Cool, that makes sense. So 2 for now, 4 in future, cycling in a month. All right, sounds cool.
Okay, so I know a lot of players have had their share of feedback for Tide. You do have some.
Yeah, mine included. Sorry.
For Tide. So first of all, we'll have some revamped camp and fight scenes.
Looks good. I like
it. A little bit more,
no longer on the beach.
Church style of sort. This is camp, and you do your add your talent here and let leader boards, and start here. And this is the new battle thing, I think.
Okay, cool. Is this for the later stages of Tide, or just from the beginning? So if you're a new player, is this what you'll see from the start, or is this for if you get later in it changes?
No, I'm assuming. So you can notice there are some sort of variations.
Yeah, it's like improving over time.
This thing. So we will use it when the players are progressing through the first 10 and second 10 levels and third 10 levels. The scene itself will evolve a little bit.
Cool, nice.
It's a little bit like the
getting
heavens
better defenses as we
hells.
keep getting hammered.
So there's a little bit in-engine footage of the new scene.
So this is the new Tide camp and the Tide battle map.
Yeah, this is the new Tide camp.
Nice, looks good. Is there a plan to change the actual default camp? Because we've been sitting on a beach forever.
Oh, right. That's a good question. So, as you may have noticed, the camp when we log in on the game does change a little bit when the holidays are coming.
Yeah.
It gets pretty snowy, and for the contents that players actually are more concerned about, we're planning to add a little bit more like simulation game sort of factors into the camp. Like you can build stuff, and when you build stuff, you gain access to new features.
That's cool.
And,
I like that.
Yeah, I probably have already said too much.
Okay.
Well, we will see.
That's good enough for me. I'm happy to hear there's something coming. That's cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
And last but not least,
a new boss.
We do have a new boss planned for the Tide.
This is a Tide boss.
Yeah, it's a devil or demon-like creature.
Very nice.
With big wings and giant tails and claws.
He is a fancy guy.
Yeah, I have no idea how does it fight though.
No, I like it. It looks really cool.
We will see.
Be good to see him in game.
Okay. Nice. And also about the arena, it has just recently been reworked and released on the Forerunner servers, and I think last week. And we have many players have experienced.
I've been seeing some of the discussions on the Discord. It's good. It's good changes to see it's evolving over time.
Yeah, the improvements are mainly in the fight pace and the strategy depth, and we have taken notes from your feedback. From the feedback, not just you, but also you guys. And a more polished version will arrive on the global server in January 2024.
Nice. Thank you.
And hope you guys can enjoy it.
Everyone's going to be looking forward to this.
Okay, great. So that's we have already covered the big stuff, and then there are some smaller stuff. So first of all, we have planned some new mount skins for the Void Rift that the main character can use, and I think it can also reflect how the main character look in the main camp.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
So basically, if you have unlocked this skin, the main character will ride a horse or ride a deer in your camp, if I understand it correctly. Because at the first I thought it only influenced the Void Rift itself. Then, yeah.
So does it actually affect the camp?
Affect the camp.
And can
Maybe
you...
it will ride the...
I'm just doing donuts.
Yeah.
So a question everyone's going to want to know, how can you get the skins?
I think by beating the Void Rift. So for the most part, they're doing contents in the Void Rift.
Nice, that's cool.
It will have different ways of unlocking, I think. And we are also doing continuously doing optimization of character materials and other render.
So this is changing the rendering of the material itself, right? This isn't a reskin. This is just the reflexivity and.
Yeah, this is an example of the in-engine model of Wrath, the hero.
Yeah,
and this one I think is the original one. This one is a new one. So the main focus is just to reduce the plastic feel and make it more metallic looking.
I think it's good. I think it works. Nice.
And those are two small engine footages of Rex, I think.
Yeah, Rex and Iron.
And Iron.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a nice improvement.
Yeah, we are always spending some time to make every little details of our game.
I think it's worth it because it's a really satisfying feeling in Watcher of Realms when you get a nice, cool looking hero. The aesthetic is a really strong point of the game.
It's good to hear.
So I think it's worth doing for sure.
Okay, so that's pretty much what we prepared for the new stuff. And those are, we also have some frequently asked questions that players are really concerned about, first of all.
I think you guys are really good at responding to community feedback, honestly. It's a really, really big point of this game. That's a reason I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
So thank you for doing this.
So for the stamina consumption and the reason, so basically we are constantly looking into the stamina related data and to evaluate how do we need to do the adjustments. And for now, we have introduced many new game modes that doesn't consume stamina. We can encourage the players that in short of stamina to play those modes like boss rush, immortal codex. Immortal codex mode doesn't consume stamina, and like GVG, Guild Wars and Guild Wars, I think, and Reworked Arena also doesn't consume stamina. And we have also recently introduced a camp visit feature that some random heroes will visit your camp from time to time, and you're doing a very easy task to gain some stamina and other good stuff. And I think this one is a really important one that we are developing to grant stockable gold and EXP bonus items that players can stock and to use those when they are in need.
Nice.
And
highly requested feature, so that's a nice win. And then there's a pretty meaty topic below it.
Yeah. And the next one is it's more like in battle mechanics, and it's also being asked a lot. So many players have been aware that, especially in the later stages of our games, the defense has been a problem. Almost like, and it's almost like you can't beat anything without having extremely high attack attributes.
Or relying on Ajax for Gear Raid 1, Silas for Gear Raid 3.
We are being aware of this problem, and in the last couple of patches we have already patched most of the later monsters here defense attributes down, and for this players will have easier amplify their heroes' damage by building up not just attack but also attack speed, crit damage, and also damage increase.
More variety in builds.
Yeah.
Cool,
So
that's a good direction.
A bit of more balance in the combat and in the attributes you can pursue on your hero build up.
So I have a question on this topic because it's come out on global now. And some players who are already very endgame players are now saying that the content feels too easy. They're now able to just crush 21. I think for the vast majority of players, that won't be their experience. But some players have said it feels a bit too easy now.
Is there any particular game modes you referring to?
All of the gear raids, basically. Mainly gear raid 1.
Yeah, so because the gear raids, they were like... because they're supposed to be farm-oriented game modes, and you only need to beat each level once, and you're just going for the jobs. You know? And we have already introduced a couple of different kinds of more high difficulty oriented game modes.
That makes sense.
Like Void Rifts and Boss Rush, and those are for those of you guys that
that's the really heavy end game players. Cool, that makes sense. I think we're all looking forward to the Immortal Codex. Yeah.
So we have already prepared, that this end of year and it's holiday season.
Yeah.
We do have prepared a thank you letter from all of us to all of you that who have played our game for almost half a year now.
Yeah, that went quick.
Yeah. May I dare to read it?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so happy holidays, commanders. At the end of the year, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all of you for your love and your lasting devotion in WR. The total number of WR players has exceeded 5 million within the first 3 months of the global launch. And this is a pleasant surprise for all of us at the studio here. None of the success would be possible without you, of course, without each and every one of our dear players. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm and devotion in Watcher of Realms. Your passion inspires us to continue working hard to bring more and more innovation and excitement to the game, and to keep pushing the boundaries of a mobile team RPG on a fantasy setup. We know that we still have many shortcomings, and your feedback and suggestions have always been driving force for us to move forward and make Watcher of Realms a world that truly belongs to the players. In addition, we would also like to express special thanks to all the content creators like my bucket here. Thank you very much. We can't reach here without any of you to contribute to the community. And your talent and creativity infuse life into the community and enriches the world of WOR. And in the upcoming year, we will continue to provide players with better gaming experience, and a lot of new exciting gameplay and activities are on the horizon. Hopefully you can enjoy it. Thank you for every moment you have spent this far in this game. And we are committed to make WR the best game possible, and to create beautiful memories together with you in the days to come. Thank you, and best wishes from Team WR. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much, honestly.
So
you guys have done a fantastic job over the last year. I've been playing for a while, and my time playing the game has been from October 2022. And over a year I've been playing, the game has changed a lot. And the main reason I've stuck around so long is because the community provides feedback and the devs actually respond. We get a lot of response from you guys, and we all really, really do appreciate it. So thank you so much for your hard work.
So important.
Honestly, it's a really big thing. I hope people who are watching do appreciate it. There is a huge amount of feedback between the developers and the players, and it really is what makes this game good. So thank you guys for your hard work. It's really appreciated.
It's nice to have you here. And that's pretty much the contents we have prepared, and we do have some a little bit reserved content. But first of all, do you have any questions for us?
I have a lot of questions.
Should I be scared?
I always have questions.
Let me go. Don't keep me too late.
But I can't get to them because it's locked.
Oh, 这个锁了，这个锁上看看。
Cool. Well, thank you so much for pretty much all of the content we've just gone over. It's a huge amount. But I've been given the opportunity to ask you more questions, so I'm going to take full advantage.
You have to?
You'll go home eventually, but not yet. So I have a bunch of questions. I asked a bunch of members in the community, mostly very endgame players, just so I can have a variety of questions. And we have some questions from some other content creators as well. So thank you in advance.
That's true.
Yeah, so the first question is a very technical question. This is regarding tooltips. So currently, tooltips are missing a lot of the specific details. So a request and something that I would like and a bunch of players I've seen would like is some way to enable or just to generally have advanced tooltips. So a way of having more details. So an example would be someone like Vienna. Her ultimate AoE does a bunch of damage and executes enemies. That's great. We know the threshold, but for most AoE skills, we don't know how many enemies it hits. And we only really knew that was a big thing when Lightlock got changed. So stuff like that, we would like to see AoE skills telling us how many enemies it affects. And there are certain like specific mechanics like Nyx. She hits the furthest enemy away, but it doesn't say it. Or Hex's A1. He has a chance to trigger some extra damage, but we don't know the chance. So is there a way that in future we could see these more, detailed breakdowns or information?
Yeah. Actually, we are being aware of these issues for a while now, and we are continuously doing the optimizations on the hero skill tooltips to make everything as precise and as accurate as possible. And of course, we will try to fix those issues that you just mentioned as quickly as possible. And in the future, we will strive to make less such problems.
That's cool. We want the detail because we like the game, so it's the more the merrier for us.
Yeah.
So that sounds like in future maybe we'll see some more change towards more detail. So that's the best we can hope for.
That's the direction we are going.
Cool. Sounds good. And secondly, and this is kind of a similar note, is regarding patch notes. So we get these really cool patch notes, which myself and many people like to go over in detail to see what we can pick apart and use in future. But sometimes the patch notes are not very descriptive. So there'll be a note, fixed known issues, or, it's a little bit vague. Is there a possibility that we can have a bit more detail in future patch notes regarding what's fixed in certain areas or what's changed?
So for the patch notes, and there are the section that's known issues has been fixed, and you just mentioned. So basically, for the issues that are more related to the players and which players are really concerned about, we will have all the details for you on the patch notes. And if we have chosen to hide it in the patch note, which it usually means it doesn't directly affect the players. Sometimes it's just technical problems.
Okay.
And on a side note, we'll try to have a more precise and specific explanations for new features and new game modes in the future that are introduced.
Cool.
So the players can understand it better even before they actually get to play it.
Yeah, sounds
so hopefully
good.
That helps.
I think the change to Guild War recently, there's these test demos for the demons to explain how they work. I've heard people say they really like those, so I think it's a good direction.
Okay, sounds good.
And this question I think kind of popped up from some people in the community, which is, so we really like the content that's coming. Void Rift I think is a really good addition to the game, and the Immortal Codex, which is coming around sometime this month on Global I think. We're really, really looking forward to that. But most of the content we're seeing is weekly, so there's a lot to do in a week, which is great. It's more content, but there's a desire I've seen from some players to have content which is a little bit of a bigger window, like a month reset. That way you have a bit more time and you're not as rushed, but maybe bigger rewards but a longer reset period. So the suggestion people have been mentioning is something like a tower system that you see in other gachas. But I guess it's something more along the lines of a bigger reward but a longer reset period. Is there plans in the future?
Okay. Yeah, as I can recall that for the Immortal Codex, we are planning for it to open like a monthly, so each month, once each month. So sometimes we have prepared like old bosses, and we are preparing to add new bosses for the Immortal Codex mode. So maybe this month you get to play some old boss you have tried in the last event, and maybe the other months you will get the new boss.
Sounds cool.
And there will be a rotation, and we are also planning to add more monthly based game modes, so to suit the players' needs.
Cool. Sounds great. Looking forward to it. But there's another question, of course, And this one is content which has only just been added, so it's very new, which is the gear recasting system. So the idea that if you get a gear piece and it's got really promising substats and it rolled really badly, you can spend a gear recasting hammer to give it another try. So I made a video covering the initial how it works, mechanics, and the response was a little bit negative. So the community has some concerns. Mainly, the acquisition of the hammers is not very accessible since you have to obliterate legendaries. And the recast is recasting the entirety of the sets, not one substat. And then finally, that you can't recast ancient gear. So I'm not sure because it's very, very new, but have you seen the feedback and had a chance to discuss it as a team? Are there any changes planned in future that you can elaborate on? Or?
Oh yeah, those are very specific questions. So yeah, my cheat sheet doesn't cover this much.
Sorry.
I need to discuss with my...
No worries.
Those are really good questions, and actually we have our plans to introduce two kinds of rerolling items. I think you can call the second one chisels. The first one is hammers. Hammers, you can use hammer to reroll all the stats, and the chisels will be targeting to one specific stat.
Okay, cool.
So basically, for a gear which have all the right stats or the right gear stat bonuses, you just don't have the right numbers, you can use hammer. It will be better suitable for it. And if you have a gear with 3 high numbers and only 1 low number, so you can use the chisels. And chisels will also be applicable to an ancient gear.
Cool.
So that
sounds perfect, and it covers pretty much most things.
Yeah.
But how do you get the chisels?
Chisels we will have a lot more ways of dropping the hammers. Very recently, like in the holiday patch, we will have a lot of other
so very
ways.
soon. Wow,
Yeah, so previously the hammer introduction on the Forerunner server is a little bit experimental to see how it works, and we have already react according to the players' feedback.
Nice, that's really quick. So
and
that sounds good.
According as regard to the chisels, so the ways of getting chisels is like, first of all, there will be different ways of getting chisels and hammers, and I think chisels will be more like from drops of the higher difficulty game modes, and maybe some higher difficulty activities too.
Interesting. Yeah. What about maybe using Epic Awakening tokens? Because we have those, but we don't have the legendary ones.
Yeah, I think we need to talk to our...
Fair enough, it's a bit early to discuss.
Operational designer.
Cool, yeah. Well, I like the chisel system. It sounds like a really good direction. We can use it on ancient gear. We can use it on specific stats. I guess the only thing remaining then is how exactly we can get hold of them. But it sounds like a really good solution. So that's nice. It gives us the option of both, which I think is a really, really good solution. So that's cool. And I have a few more questions. I'll probably cut the list a little bit just so I don't take too much of your time. But the next question is, recently we've had a lot of ancient heroes being added. So the Chaos Dominion faction, and now we have the new Arbiters being added. I think the art's fantastic. I like the design. I like the abilities. I think the heroes are really, really cool. They're a lot harder to get, which I don't mind, but in recent patches we're mainly seeing these kind of ancient exclusive heroes coming to the game. Is there going to be more normal heroes coming, so in the normal summoning pool, or are we going to be staying on this ancient trend for a while?
So I think, so previously we were adding, for the most part we were adding those 2 new factions to the game. So we were, focusing most on building up those 2 new factions, and so that's why maybe players have seen more heroes from those 2 factions recently than not. And of course, as now they are sort of set up, those 2 factions have some numbers of heroes already, and we will try to do a better work of balance between those ancient heroes and non-ancient heroes, and we will, of course, continuously introducing more new heroes from other factions as well.
Is there a possibility to add more epic heroes as well? Because I think that's something people have mentioned quite a bit. Because we're getting loads of legendaries.
We already plan to add more 3 stars and 4 stars, like epics and rares, I think.
Yeah, very good. Awesome, that's good news.
So something to add to my point earlier is just we will mainly focus on the non-ancient heroes, and the ancient heroes will be still like a rarer drop or a smaller.
So you wanted to build the factions up so they're there, and then you can return to.
Right.
Something we're not going to get them that off or something. Cool, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think something that's when they were first introduced, when I was playing on the Forerunner, which was kind of a test server, so this is it makes sense. It was very hard to get them because there were very few sources of ancient crystals, but now there's a lot more and I think Immortal Codex introduces more ways of getting them. So I think it's actually very fair. I think we're going to have a lot of good opportunities to get these new heroes.
Good to know.
But on that tangent regarding getting heroes, there's a question someone else raised to me, which I think is a very good point regarding there's like banners at the moment, right, on weekends. So either you have a 2x, so a double chance of getting a legendary, or there's a 10x banner, so there'll be specific heroes, and you have a 10 times greater chance of getting those heroes. But since the game launched in July, the number of legendaries has increased by like 50% or something. We keep adding more and more legendaries. So the value of a 10x banner is not as good as it used to be, because there's now so many more heroes that trying to get the banner hero is now a lot harder. So 10x isn't as good anymore. So I've seen a suggestion to increase it to like 15x or 20x. Is there anything you can do or have plans to do to make the 10x more valuable? Because it's, like I said, it's not quite as good odds anymore.
Before I answer the question, I need to check with you. You were mentioning something 15% more?
50, I think so some guy did a bunch of math. So he said increased by around 50% since launch.
Oh, since launch. Of course, it will keep increasing.
But it means that the 10x is not as good, right?
Yeah, of course. So regarding to this question, so we are aware of the specific the drop rates of specific hero 10 times will actually decrease effectively when the hero pool increases.
Yeah.
And we have prepared two different solutions for this in the long run. And first of all, we will consider a similar format like the 15 times or 20 times like this particular player suggests. We will consider this possibly. And the second, which in my personal opinion is more likely, is that we'll introduce some form of pity later when it grows. The hero pool grows larger and larger. We'll have more formats of pity. And to ensure that your
other titles kind of have like,
experience is
if
better.
you don't get the hero, the next one you do kind of thing. I guess something similar to that. Yeah. Cool, that sounds good then, thank you. We have a bunch of questions from the other content creators, but I'd like to sneak one last question in, or a couple last questions in. You've shown us a whole bunch of really cool content that's coming up soon, but we didn't see any new heroes. So do you have any new heroes that you can show us by chance?
Yeah, that's right, you're asking the right questions.
You're a hero designer, so I want to see what you've been doing.
Yeah. You're checking out my work now, right?
See how busy they keep you.
Okay.
You might want to pull the camera over.
Here's just...
Okay, cool. She looks pretty fancy.
A glimpse of the new heroes we are introducing possibly.
Wait, the dragon is a hero?
Yeah, there's a faction that it's called unnameable.
Oh, the nameless.
Yeah, currently there is only one hero in it. Maybe we'll think about adding something.
It sounds like you're going to.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing the chick with the vase. She was in one of the pictures before.
Which one?
The bottom right.
Bottom right. Oh, this one.
Yeah, briefly. Interesting.
Oh, where did you see it?
You guys showed it off in some artwork ages ago.
Oh.
Interesting.
It must be very ancient, this hero concept.
These look really cool though.
Yeah. And this one I think is Arbiter faction hero.
Interesting.
And this one too, like the Archangel or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
these guys are
a huge lens. And this one should be a chaotic hero.
Nice. That is very cool.
Hopefully, yeah.
Any ideas when these guys are coming or who's soonest?
No idea actually. we haven't been planning on this yet, but most of them will probably arrive within next year.
Yeah, I think they look really cool though. I like the design. They're very different to the existing characters, which is great. And I like the more monstrous characters as well.
Which one? Like this one on the bottom?
And the tentacle octopus lady. I think it's just cool to see a big difference in the shape, right? The silhouette of a character.
Are you a fan of COC?
Of what?
Call of Cthulhu?
Oh, Call of Cthulhu. Wow, yeah.
It's more like
Yeah,
that kind of vibe, you know.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much we are ready.
Well, I saw the hero
What we
skins
are ready
now.
to share at this moment.
There's a little thing with hero skins. I just saw.
Oh, right. Since you have already saw it, we might as well just proceed, right?
Yeah, let's see what's coming.
Okay. So we have
right.
prepared an Archdemon theme for Ras, and
When-
it's it's more savage-like, almost like Berserker, with less armor but with
And wings.
extra wings and larger horns.
Nice.
And
very
I think
cool.
the weapon also got revamped as well.
Yeah, looking good.
I think it almost look better than the Arrogance hero.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's very similar to Arrogance in its like the design aesthetic.
Yeah.
Nice.
After all, they are both one of the 7 things.
Yeah.
So there's sort of a similar design.
And we have a morbid wedding.
Yeah, some wedding skin for Silas and Verna. So this
cool.
is like a couple.
I'm gonna guess this is gonna come out on Valentine's.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Who knows?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's the comparison pictures with the original one and the skin, the wedding skin for
That's
Vienna.
a very saucy outfit.
Yeah. She also gets a little bit roses.
That's cool. I like the design.
Yeah. And the original one for Silas and the skin.
Damn.
The groom.
They look good. They look good.
Silas.
And Dolores.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a Pharaoh same skin for Dolores. Dolores is a really popular hero because the ability we gave her.
Yeah. She's, I think, arguably the best hero in the game at the moment.
Yeah, I'm eager to learn whether players are interested in this new form.
It would get the most use out of any skin, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That looks cool.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have prepared for today's event.
No, that's great. Thanks for sharing these little teasers. Cool.
So do you have any more questions you have prepared?
My questions we've gone through, but we have questions from the other content creators. So to start things off, we have a question from the wonderful Ivy Lee Gaming. So she says, I don't really have any questions or opinions about the future other than to keep doing what you guys are doing. Continue to show the community that you want our feedback and that you're willing to make adjustments if people aren't satisfied. Yes, do some research, maybe not just on Forerunner, but maybe more often do some research on the whole community to find out what they like about certain content. It helps a lot, and I think you're doing it, so I can't complain. So I agree with Ivy. I think you guys are doing a really, really good job at responding and seeking out player feedback. So really, really good direction, and we're all excited to see more. And then we have a bunch of questions from Veiled Shot. So the first one is it possible to include the epics alongside legendaries when you do the 2x summon events? At the moment, a 2x event will just be 2x chance for legendaries. And the request is that epics will also have a boosted drop rate on 2x banners.
So previously, I was trying to understand the question. Previously, it was either 2 times on epics or 2 times on the legendaries only, right? So we either
I thought it was just
only boosted the legendary rate or boosted the epic rate.
so 2x is just legendaries,
Uh-huh.
and 10x boosts epics, but not the chance of getting an epic. So there's no banner to increase the chance of an epic, but there's a banner to increase the chance of a legendary.
It's an interesting question, and we will definitely take into consideration.
Cool.
And we will do an evaluation first.
Sounds good. His second question is regarding the gear recast system, which I think we've already answered. So the question is, when will we be able to use it for ancient gear? And the answer is the chisel system, which
when
is
the new item was introduced.
Yeah, so whenever the chisel system comes, which I think is maybe in the next month or two from the sounds of it. I think you said it was coming somewhat soon.
Probably early next year.
Cool, yeah. So the new chisel system coming probably early next year. So the third question will be, will we see any collaboration events with other games, shows or movies? So maybe some kind of popular other game where a hero comes in, or is there something planned like that?
So for this question, actually, all we can say is we are in discussion with a big IP right now, and you guys can look forward to it.
Can you say what kind of IP? Game? Show? It's a game. Okay, cool. That's good enough. So
Game IP.
maybe in future a game collab, maybe, but it's still early days. Cool. That's cool. All right, so we have a whole bunch of questions to go over. I have to get through them fairly quick, so I'm just going to pick a few more randomly.
All right.
So there's one from Dan Hellman, which is an interesting technical question regarding attack speed interval. So at the moment, there's like it shows it to 1 decimal place. So maybe you have like an attack interval of 2.1. Is it fixed to decimal places, or does it actually work beyond that? So if I have 400 attack speed, and it says 1.8, and if I have 480 and it still says 1.8, is it actually staying at 1.8, or is it just displaying?
It's only the display issue, so it got fixed to the.
It's fixed at 1 decimal place.
But it actually has more decimals.
So it is actually more. It is affecting it still. Okay, cool. So that's some information for us. Attack speed does work even if it's not shown. It's just only shown to 1 decimal place. Very technical question, but it's interesting to know. So thank you.
Good question.
Okay, so there's a question from Hell Hades I've seen a few of as well regarding the animations. Everyone loves the cutscenes. We're all big fans of the cutscenes. Are there plans to add more, especially for Lords? Or, just generally, are we going to have more of these cutscenes?
You mean the cutscenes when you
drop
the hero the first time? Yeah, we have been continuously adding more and more, and we are prioritizing on the newly added heroes.
Okay, so it'll be the newest ones first and then slowly the back. Okay, cool. And this one's a cool question. This is from Ash. I think this is a really nice question. Name a few of the most misunderstood heroes in the game. Are there any heroes you feel players should be using a lot more than they actually are? So like an underrated hero kind of thing. So it took us a while to actually appreciate Ai. Ai is really powerful, does some really cool stuff. Are there other heroes that you think the players are sleeping on at the moment that we should be using more?
I'm not sure if my answer is going to be popular.
So a hero that we're not using, basically, like that you think is really good.
I have seen a lot of negative feedbacks on Shamir.
Shamir. You like Shamir? Interesting.
Yeah, I just because I think it fits our design purposes for him. That he's the fundamentary level of the legendary hero, and it works for the most part main campaigns and some of the I think void rifts. I think it could be good.
Yeah,
because it has a lot of it has some single target and also has some AOE, and it can slows the enemies.
So you think Shamir is a bit underlooked by players because he's good in campaign?
It's not among the weakest heroes. Not to my understanding.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So you can also tell me, what do you think? Why do you think he's so weak? If you agree with me.
Yeah, so I'm on the hate wagon for Shamir a little bit. So the reason I think he's not valued is most content you solve with a hammer, right? You just go pure damage, as much damage as you can, because once your damage reaches a certain threshold, you can kind of skip mechanics, like Void Rift. Lysair is super hard, but if you kill him fast enough, it's easy. So I think at the moment, at least for current content, players will aim to kill stuff really fast because it allows you to get around features or mechanics that are really difficult.
Yes.
So if a hero like Shamir doesn't have really high damage output, he doesn't get a space. Yeah. But his crowd control abilities are good, the slows are good, but they're not as powerful as like Mari, where she's dedicated freezes. Yeah,
so I have a theory, like those of you guys who doesn't think Shamir is valuable at all, is for the most part the higher end of the player spectrum. For a new player who or someone just started this game a couple of days ago, Shamir could be a good help or a good tool for his to beat the main campaign or the early stages of many levels, I think.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Sort of an all-around heroes, but now of the aspects is very, very strong.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's like an all-rounder, so he doesn't fit into a specific team.
He's one of our early heroes, and
makes sense. Cool. Okay, so the last question, I guess I'll take one from Cold Brew. His question is, are there any plans to add an infinite mode to the game? So a mode that gets harder as you go, like a roguelike, something like a tower defense battle rather than just Tide, but you have to defend as long as possible. It just keeps going until you fail. Is there any plans or consideration for something like that?
We do have another new game mode planned, which is a little bit similar to what you have described. And we have combined some roguelike elements in the battle, and you sort of have a long battle fight time. It will not be literally endless, but it will be very long time, and we will have a leaderboard for it. If you can get long enough,
Nice.
you will
Sounds cool.
look good. Yeah.
So I guess this is still quite early in development.
Yeah, it will be a little bit released a bit late.
Cool. No, it's good to know it's on the horizon, so thanks for sharing. But that covers, I think, all that we have time for. There are more questions, but unfortunately we can't get around to all of them as there's a lot. But
Maybe in the future.
yeah, perhaps the next time. But thank you so much for answering more for us.
It's good to have you here.
All right, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for bringing me here to your office. It's been a pleasure to actually meet you in person, so thank you again.
Me too. Thank you.
And to the viewers at home, thank you guys very much for joining us playing Watcher of Realms over the last 6 months. And it's been a really exciting year. We've had a lot of great content coming. We've heard about a bunch of really cool content coming in the next year. So we have a lot to look forward to. Thank you guys very much for joining us in Moonton's office, for looking at the future content, for playing all this time, and for providing your feedback to the developers. As you can see, they clearly actually listen and they make really good changes based upon it. So thank you guys very much. It's really appreciated. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All the best. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. Okay, I'll do my mysterious smell first. Okay.
Just show more your face.
Oh.
Like.